Hello students, I hope you enjoyed our last class on the vile little creatures known as goblins. This time, we will discuss a much more civilized kingdom. This class, we will speak about the Trident realm of Neritica. During the God War, many were the monstrous beings crafted by the hands of the Wicked One, known as Garken the Black, the malicious being crafting monsters that still ravage the world to this day, the orcs being a prime example. However, not all creatures created by Garken were destined to be ruled by their darker instincts. Some fled into the forests, taking shelter with the Green Lady and would later become known as the Herd, a faction I will discuss in a later class. Others, those of a more aquatic nature, fled into the depths of the ocean, guided there by the gentle hand of Chiron, the shining half of Garken the Black. These beings thrived in isolation, eventually forming a nation that is now known as the Trident realm of Neritica. A nation formed of 4 races united in common purpose and collectively known as Neriticans. Lithe, blue-skinned female warriors clad in armor of rust-proof metal or bone, the Naiads are the Neriticans most likely to be seen by land dwellers on Mantica, for these warriors are often allied with the forces of nature, their enclaves dotting the various forests across the world. They are also known to work as mercenaries for various land-based armies, employed heavily by richer coastal cities and seafaring nations. Although disciplined and well-drilled warriors, this is often counterbalanced by their spiteful, fickle, and ferocious nature, many an opponent surprised by the viciousness of what appears to be a much more controlled and focused army. Wielding tridents and rapiers alongside thick nets, the Naiads known as ensnarers use those nets to entangle their foes, before finishing them off with the weapons they wield, and, admittedly, due to their vicious and cruel nature, may perhaps take a little more time than necessary to finish off their entangled foe. Heart piercers wield small harpoons and are specialized in hunting down larger foes, the thick metal bolts ideal for piercing heavy armor, and, when necessary, are supported by the Leviathan's Bane, an artillery piece that fires a large harpoon that has taken down many an impossibly large enemy. Some Naiads are skilled enough to ride great sea worms into the battlefield, although usually confined to the ocean's depths. When necessary, Thule aqua mages can summon forth the ocean itself onto the land to have the worms aid the warriors against much more land-based threats. And leading these forces are the Naiad Centurions. With over 100 years of experience, the Centurions can be seen on foot leading her troops with the ensnarers, or riding atop great worms. They are usually accompanied by envoys who are assigned to deliver the Centurion's orders to her troops, or to quickly inform the rulers of the Trident realm of the current state of a conflict. If the Naiads are the swords and daggers that rend the enemy's flesh, the placoderms are the steel spears that pierce their hearts, strongest and toughest of the Neriticans. These large, almost reptilian creatures are covered in extremely tough scales that makes them extremely hard to take down. They are the most warlike of the Neriticans, and their very nature makes them predatory and bloodthirsty, so much so that they are known to view those they consider lesser as their rightful prey. Despite this, they are the most disciplined and honor-bound beings I have ever met, forming warrior guilds that guard their various Trident kingdoms and in battle are known to form disciplined fighting lines that are run with clockwork precision, using their discipline and shrewd tactics to fight foes even their large size and strength might not be enough to defeat, keeping the foe at arm's length with tridents and pikes, and ripping apart those who come near with axes of stone and thick shell. A bizarre mix of halfling and octopus, the Thules are relatively small purple-skinned creatures with bulbous heads ending in grasping tentacles. Most see the Thules as mere savages, and their propensity to rip apart their foes with their bare hands with their surprising strength does nothing to dissuade that view. But the Thules do have a keen intelligence. Many are even known to have the gift of magic, some say rivaling that of the elves themselves. These few, known as aqua mages, are powerfully attuned to water and are able to summon great beasts and call forth powerful storms to destroy enemy fleets. It is said the Thuls obtained this ability as a gift from the Shining One Chiron, due to them looking like the Shining One themselves. Although if that's true, the idea of a god, even a Shining One, who looks like a giant humanoid octopus disturbs me for some unknown reason. The fourth race are technically not true Neriticans, for they weren't crafted by the cruel hands of Garkin the Black. Instead, the River Guard are an amphibious race that dwells near inland waters. During the God War, these beings quickly allied with the Neriticans for mutual defense. Due to these sacred oaths, they are the first line of defense for the Trident realm, serving as sentinels in rivers and estuaries across Mantica. When called to battle, they tend to favor fighting in formations called clutches, either throwing javelins and hit-and-run attacks, or coming in close with two-handed tridents to deal a deadly blow with their poisoned weapons. When rivers are being encroached by humans, dwarves, or elves, the River Guard employ their heavy cavalry, the Dam Busters. The giant mounts these elites ride are strong beasts able to leap over fortifications and destroy defenses with ease. The leaders of these River Guard are the Sentinels. Given responsibility over whole river basins or lake systems, it is they who answer to their Neritican superiors and are chosen to lead their fellow River Guard in defense of their home. And there is technically a fifth race, the powerful, if rarely seen, Trident Kings. The true identities of these beings are unknown, as they all wear Medusa masks that hide their true forms from mortal eyes, and which also gives them almost godlike power. Although many believe them immortal, it is more likely these masks are simply passed on to a new successor. Who these successors might be are unknown, but as far as can be told, they are not from any of the royal families of the Naiads, placoderms, or Thuls. As for the source of their great power, there is ancient writing which shows that it derives from a god's soul fragment in a great rift, or, if the translation can be taken another way, abyss deep in the ocean's depths. Now, there are only 3 Trident Kings at any one time, and each one rules over one of the Trident Kingdoms. Originally one vast kingdom, the war with Winter centuries past split that powerful nation into 3. Although they are all united in common purpose, there are differences in culture that can cause occasional friction. Largest and most powerful of the kingdoms, Medusath is a kingdom of reef cities and cave dwellings that dot the equator and culminates in the great undersea city of Yith Medu. Composed of mazes of coral, sunken elven ruins, and carved rock temples, it is also the most cosmopolitan of the kingdom's cities, with massive domes which maintain air pockets so that the River Guard and emissaries of land-based nations may discuss important matters with the ruling family. This hospitality does not equal weakness, however, as the nation's rulers ensure that the visitors are always able to see large armies of placoderms patrolling the nearby waters. Mirheim occupies the space nearest the Great Deep, the deep trench venerated by the Neriticans. Their numerous defensive watchtowers dot its outer edges, but are generally seen as unnecessary, as any foolish enough to get close find themselves victims of the depth horrors within. Depth horrors that the kingdoms are sometimes able to coerce into aiding them in battle. The capital of Mirheim is Mir Ulis. Its many shimmering towers shine like beacons, and are used to guide the numerous pilgrims of the Trident realm who head there for worship. It is also the home of the elders of the Thul, whose priests are inducted into the mysteries of the Great Deep as soon as they leave their egg sacs. Surrounding the city are the mysterious Gigas, large, powerful crustaceans who scuttle vigilantly in search of anyone who would dare enter the city uninvited. Farthest flung is the kingdom of Illithish, home to the greatest population of Naiads in the ocean. Although it is the smallest kingdom, it is also without a doubt the most beautiful, with verdant fields of aquatic flora, awe-inspiring reefs, and bioluminescent fauna of unrivaled splendor. Naiads are generally seen as vain and self-absorbed, but they simply long to live peaceful lives filled with light, laughter, and beauty. However, they have a thirst for killing and cruelty that goes beyond the simple barbarity of their placoderm kin. The Naiads occasionally send parties to the surface to seduce sailors, fishermen and coastal villagers and drag them back to their kingdom to perform I can only assume are unspeakable acts. If you look closely at the corals that surround their settlements, one can easily see sunken treasure, hulks of human ships, and the remains of an incalculable number of mortals. In war, the Neriticans are often allied with the forces of nature and the herd, for they also fight for the natural balance of the world. They, as a whole, favor hit-and-run tactics, emerging from lakes and estuaries with great speed and in great numbers, to quickly strike an unsuspecting foe. And when the battle is done, the Neriticans simply return to their ocean homes, never holding any captured territory for long once their true objectives are complete. Well, class, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson on the Trident realm of Neritica. Make sure to be ready for the next class, for we will speak of a truly vile and industriously evil race. Next class, we will speak of the Abyssal Dwarves. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on the Trident realm of Neritica. If you like it, please like, subscribe, comment, press the little bell so you know whenever I post, etc. And if you really like it and you're inclined and you have the extra cash, please consider sending a little money my way to my Patreon or my Ko-fi account. The extra money gives me the time I need to work on these stories I love to write. Anyway, talk to you later, and see you next time.